76ers, Celtics, officially the matchup in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Game 1 of this series set for Monday night at the TD Garden in Boston. Here's a look at both teams' first round victories there. And, the regular season rankings when it comes to offensive and defensive ratings. Thanks to a pretty balanced attack, the Celtics took 3 out of 4 matchups during the season. So, let's break it down. Celtics, Sixers, we knew we were going to get this. What's one thing to watch? Tess, get us started.
Well, it's got to start with Joel Embiid. Let's just get that out there. My primary question is, will Joel Embiid accept the MVP in front of his home court fans? That's my question. Now, they're going to do, obviously the question is, will he play basketball? How healthy will he be? But I do wonder, Embiid likely to receive the MVP in some sort of TV ceremony or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing these days. But then I am guessing he's not going to accept it in front of his fans just because the Celtics have this team's number. I don't think he wants to play mind games. I'm just putting that out there.
I disagree with that. If he goes on to win MVP, they're going to give it to him before the game.
No, he's going to say, I don't want to do that.
Wow. A guy that's only wanted the MVP for the last 3 or 4 years.
He's going to get it.
Nah, don't give it to me now.
He's going to get it from whoever gives it to him in some sort of practice. I think he's not going to do it in front of his fans. That's all. Just throwing that out there.
Is he going to play?
Last year there was a lot of sneaky awards. They're like, ooh, look, check this out. You got a 6 Man of the Year trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Not as many secrets this year.
No.
We need one. We need a trick.
Is he going to play in game 1?
Yeah, I think so.
He's going to play. Come on.
Sprained right knee. Oh, you think this is all gamesmanship here from Doc?
8 days
and
off.
The Sixers. Well, even longer by the time they play, right?
Yeah, because he was off. Yeah, 8 days in between the games, I thought, between game 4.
He hasn't played since April 20th.
Yeah,
so he's had a couple extra days, right, because he didn't play in game 4 of that series. But it's not just about him playing. He's got to play damn well.
Yeah.
And he's got to play for a lot of minutes because the non-Embiid minutes are scary times. I know Paul Reed was good in round 1, but this is a different Celtics defense, so he's got to be great. And who is he going to play against? I think they'll just try and start Horford like they have been, but they could easily start Robert Williams like they did in their postseason run last year, and then you're going to see him banging Grant Williams from time to time as well. In the game that they won this year against the Celtics had won 4 straight against them before that game. He dropped 52. It was a cool 52. So, I mean, not that he has to drop 50, but he has to be awesome in this series. So he's got to be healthy. The knee's got to be healthy. Can't be rusty to start because of all those days off. Yeah, just strictly one-on-one. I'm looking forward to that matchup.
What they've done a little bit differently, I think, because of the success Embiid did have, even though they only won 1 game, he had monster numbers across the regular season series, is they don't worry about posting his ass up as much anymore. It is get him at the free throw line and let him operate there all season long, especially against Boston. And I think we'll see that again. Though my concern is because Horford, smart-ass defender, Grant Williams obviously will put his body on the line. When he makes those moves sometimes to the rim, they'll slide over, try and take the charge on the big guy. Bodies are going to go down. It's Embiid. They're going to hit the floor, and hopefully he doesn't pick up 1 or 2 offensive fouls early in a game that suddenly has to take him out a little bit. But yeah, Embiid is the number 1 question with this series. Is he playing in game 1? You guys think so? And then how does he look? And will he get injured again? Unfortunately, when it comes to him and this sprained right knee here, or any other part of his body for that matter. So that's huge. I forgot that he missed the first 2 games of last year's second-round series against Miami that they ultimately lost.
He got his face broken.
6, see, that's right, in the series prior against the Raptors.
Siakam's elbow, yeah.
Yep. But what do you got besides Embiid here? Maybe something to watch.
Health is the biggest question. Embiid and Harden. Harden didn't look great in round 1 against the Nets. He had quite a few opportunities, had that huge game 1 where he was just hot from 3, but finishing inside wasn't really happening for James Harden. Getting to the free throw line wasn't really happening for James Harden. Tyrese Maxey was really their best perimeter player in that series. So I'm interested to see if Harden has a little burst, because I kind of think that the backcourt can really be a swing matchup in this series. You got Derek White and Marcus Smart against Tyrese Maxey and James Harden. It could go either way. Smart can take either of those guys out of the game, either Maxey or Harden. White and Smart can shoot you out of a game. If White doesn't want to take some threes, he was very good for the majority of the Hawks series. Oftentimes the Celtics' best player. Didn't do much in Game 6 last night. Smart, we just talked about, peaks and valleys for Marcus Smart. But I think if Philly's going to win this series, Harden's got to play well. He's got to be consistent every single night. And then Maxey has to be as good as he was in round one, because I thought he did a great job of the Nets taking the ball out of his hands, not letting Harden beat him. Somebody's got to do it. Maxey was ready to step up. So if he plays well, that could be an advantage for Philly, I think.
Yeah, I have Maxey written down here as well. Against Boston's cavalcade of perimeter defenders. That's not going to be easy. He struggled in the regular season, if you care at all. Maxey, he averaged 10 points per game, shot 35% in the series against the Celtics, 21% from deep, because they have too many guys. And the other part is they like to try and play Embiid as straight up as possible with their bigs. So obviously there's not guys falling in and doubling him like that. So less room for him to operate. But he was awesome. 33 points in game 2 against the Nets. He won them game 3 at the end. So he'll need to continue, especially if Harden can't finish at the rim like we saw in that Nets series. That was a little weird. Had his moments, but yeah, I'm with you, TK. It didn't look amazing. So Maxey is very important, I think, for them to make this a series. X factor?
It's got to be Maxey because Harden wasn't himself in round one. He wasn't the Harden I predicted to have his best postseason ever. He struggled from 2-point land. Now the Nets were throwing out really good long defenders. Mikal Bridges, that was his number one job, doing a nice job against him. But the Celtics, as we've said here, do have bodies to throw at him. Many of them. I think it kind of gets swept under the rug because they swept the Nets, but Harden was just 34% from the floor, 26% from 2-point land. I think that's the important part. That he was great shooting threes, actually, but when he got into the lane, he just didn't look quick. He wasn't getting to the free throw line. It's just a very un-Harden-like 2.8 free throws per game from the field in round one. Maybe he's saving it for round two. The speed, the burst, but it's going to be Derek White. It's going to be Marcus Smart, then a Brown, then a Tatum, then a Brogdon. They're going to throw a lot of bodies, and there's just a lot on Harden and trickle-down effect Maxey because PJ Tucker's not going to score a lot in that starting lineup. So Maxey, who was up and down in round one, definitely came through. It's going to escalate in this series. You got to come through because the Celtics offense is probably going to be really, really good. So some consistency from the Sixers backcourt, as we've all said.
Who do you got? Or what do you have as an X factor?
DeAnthony Melton and Tobias Harris, I think, are big X factors, particularly in this series. They're both active defenders. Tobias Harris was really, really good against the Nets. He was guarding Bridges a lot. He was guarding Cam Johnson a lot. Melton, he's a disruptive kind of player. One of the Achilles heels for the Celtics these past few seasons are turnovers, and that's where Melton thrives. He's a Jaylen Brown type character where he's really good at turning defense into offense. So I think that they need to be as good as they were in round one defensively, but you got to get a little bit offensively from Harris and from Melton hitting open shots because they're surely going to be there. I think PJ Tucker is going to get a bunch of looks in this series. He's got to knock them down.
And he hit a bunch of late threes in the final regular season game, in the one where Embiid went off, right? I'm pretty sure he did in the corner there.
He can get hot. Yeah. He can hit some shots, and we know the Celtics are going to get him up. So the Philadelphia was one of the best three-point shooting teams in the league this year. They got to knock them down. So Melton, Harris, PJ Tucker, and maybe even Jalen McDaniels gets a little bit of a run here just because they're going to need the athleticism to keep up with Boston.
Yeah, I have Tobias Harris. He was phenomenal in the first round. It got overlooked, I think, because it was sort of a boring series. But he shot 57% from deep. He was lights out. But the question with Tobias Harris, it always has been through his career, is can he sustain that type of production? Can he continue to do it? Because if you go and check, he's sort of always been a sneaky good first-round guy in a lot of postseason matchups and sort of tails off as maybe the competition gets a little stronger and maybe teams focus in on him a little bit better. So the semifinals, they start to go like that. I know they definitely, they fell off a cliff way back against the Raptors and stuff like that. So he'll need to continue to hit these shots and put some pressure on there and be out there playing a little good defense like he did in round one. So Tobias Harris, for me, a bit of an X factor for helping the Sixers pull this off. Prediction time or final thoughts. What do you got? Where are you going?
Well, I do like how the Celtics got a good fight against the Hawks in round one, not only for their team to wake up and play with urgency a lot, but also for their rookie coach. And Joe Mazzulla, I think that helped him realize I got to play call quicker, I got to make adjustments quicker, I got to call timeouts quicker, and I think from game 5 to game 6 that helped. I think we keep talking about Embiid healthy and scoring a lot. He's too talented not to. But also defensively, they're going to make him work. And it's just a lot. It's just a lot on that guy. So I think they start Horford to spread out the Sixers defense, which is a good defense. But Horford will be there, and they're going to make that 4-on-3 happen if they try to get the ball out of the Jays' hands. So I think the Celtics should be favored in this series. And so much on the health of Embiid. And as you said, Harden. I go 6. Celtics in 6.
What about you?
Is this the Eastern Conference Finals?
After Milwaukee goes down.
Milwaukee's gone. The Celtics were the best team in the league for 3 quarters of the season.
Sure
Philly was the best team in the league for 3 quarters of the season.
Look, probably yes is the answer to your question, but the Knicks and Heat both played, I know at least the Celtics really well during the regular season. So I don't think they would get waxed, either of these teams, in what will be a conference finals. But yeah, the favorite is in this group here in the semifinals matchup.
They both have home court advantage against the Western Conference if they get there.
Also true.
Stats.
Also true.
There you go.
Well, I think that the 76ers are going to have the best player in this series. Joel Embiid. He's going to win MVP unless Tim Bontemps' leak was correct. And Al Horford used to be the Embiid stopper. Not anymore.
No.
Embiid has completely figured it out. They were 0.5 seconds from having another victory over the Celtics this year on that 3-quarter court shot. Then he obviously hung 52 on him. Embiid is going to get definitely be the best player in this series, but I think Boston probably has like the next 4 best players, unless James Harden can get to a level that we haven't seen quite yet in the playoffs so far. So I'm with Taz. I'm going Celtics in 6 here.
Celtics in 6. Okay, so you're not as concerned about how the Celtics maybe played at times versus the Hawks, because there were some worrisome things. Mm-hmm. And not that the Sixers looked like dominant in a sweep against the Nets either. There were a couple things as well, but like the Hawks guards definitely went at Al Horford and had a lot of success at that. So I wonder how much action, obviously, the Sixers will try and include him on that end, because Horford's going to play, and he's got to play against Embiid. When they went smaller, Boston, they got killed by the Hawks on the glass. We'll see whether or not that comes into play here. And Mazzulla did look a little over his head at times. Now, then again, you got Doc Rivers as the other coach. But he's like trying to find out a consistent rotation. And, like you said, he was learning on the fly here. It was his first real playoff matchup as the main guy. But I wonder if that's like a tiny bit of a check to the Sixers. But in the end, I'm coming back to like the Celtics, high volume 3-point shooters. You say Embiid will probably be the best player in the series. That's probably true, but then, my God, Tatum and Brown, like a couple games in this series, they will be one of them, if not both of them. And then you just have like 2 sets, it feels like, of defensive-minded backcourt players to slow a Maxey and Harden. Like, I mean 2 sets. It's like they're starters, and then they're guys they bring off the bench are no slouch. So they're like tailor-made in a weird way here to I think, take care of the Sixers. They can exploit their weaknesses. So I'm agreeing with you guys. I'm going Celtics in 6 as well. 6. Everybody taking the Beantown boys.
Love beans.
But people are all over the map on this one. They think this could be the year the Sixers get it done against them. People say the Celtics are going to like wax them. Like, it's all over the map here. Embiid's health is a major, major issue. I hope he plays in game 1. I hope everybody's basically full squads for this one. It'll be a little bit more competitive.
He's been talking all season long about not missing playoff games with freak injuries, because that's what he called it, like getting hit in the face by Pascal Siakam. That's not anything that's a problem with Embiid, right? He just got hit in the face. This one's a little bit different, but I mean, he's going to have more than a week to sit. He's got to play. He's absolutely going to play.
Hopefully he does. We've got Celtics in 6. Buddy. You tell us, though, what's your prediction for Celtics Sixers that gets started on Monday night?